there are some important indicators that I like to look at when I'm thinking about, are we close to an overheated market, especially after the last 2 months where things have ran so much since the confirmation of Trump being elected. The Republicans are pro-business, pro-innovation party, so many different VCs getting massive roles in the cabinet. This has led to a huge increase in risk assets, such as Bitcoin and tech companies, Tesla, Nvidia. And so at this point, you kind of start to think, is it overheated? Are we near the end? Are we at the top? And I don't know for sure, but I know that it has ran so quickly, so fast in the last 2 months. I am going to throw up a few charts. I'm going to go through 3 indicators that confirm for me and give me the confidence that I don't think that this is the top. And I think that there is a lot more room to run in 2025. Now, one of the indicators I like to look at is the ISM, which is the Institute for Supply Management. Now, this is where the top 300 companies in America, they are procuring different supplies for their companies. Now, if this is over 50, it shows that there's an expansion in the market, it shows that the sentiment in the market is healthy, and that there's growth. Now, for example, in the Great Financial Crisis in 2008, this reading was at 37.8, so it was under 40. Anything over 50 is positive. It shows that there's growth, there's health, the economy is expanding. COVID, for example, was at 41.7, and then to just give you the other side of the coin, you've got when things were really overheated, the ISM reading was 67.8. So just to see where we are now, we've just gone over 56. So I feel like that's an indicator that shows that there's definitely still room for growth, there's still room for further expansion, and definitely that's a reading that shows that basically Bitcoin risk assets follow the trajectory of this leading indicator, the ISM. The next one is the MVRV score, which in crypto, in Bitcoin terms, is the market value over the realized value. The higher this score, usually when it goes over 5 and starts to get close to 7, this shows that the market value and the last traded coin, the difference is so high that a lot of the holders are in profit. So there's a lot of temptation to sell. There's a higher temptation to take lifestyle chips off, and that usually shows that there's definitely a top incoming when that score starts to breach the fit. When that score gets over 5, starts getting close to 7, you can see in previous cycles that when it gets to those levels, it's usually the end of the cycle. That doesn't look like it's going to happen until next year. Maybe in Q3 of next year, maybe just before May. The actual exact time of this is very difficult to anticipate, but it's just important to be aware of these indicators. They haven't yet flashed a real market sell signal where you would kind of reduce your risky positions completely. And then the final indicator that is a very popular indicator for Bitcoin especially, and just crypto in total, and for crypto in general, is the Pi cycle top. Now, this is where the 350 moving day average and the 111 day moving average cross. So the 111 day moving average crosses over the 350 day moving average. This usually indicates that long-term trend that was going up for the 350 day moving average is now being crossed by a more medium-term trend. When that crosses, it's usually signaled in the past every time a cycle top, and it's kind of very accurate to the thousands of dollars. So in Bitcoin terms, that's actually really useful. And so if that isn't close yet either, these two moving averages haven't touched yet. They haven't crossed. They're not close to crossing. It shows that there's still room for growth. There's still room for more expansion, especially in this particular asset class. So with those 3 indicators, you've got the ISM, Institute for Supply Management. I'll throw up a chart for this. You've got the Pi cycle top. That's a really important indicator. And then you've got the MVRV score. None of these 3 indicators are flashing, and therefore I would say that 2024 has been an extremely good year. It's now going through a momentary correction through the FOMC meeting. Jerome Powell basically was very hawkish about next year. He was saying that there's only going to be 2 rate cuts, that actually they have to be careful with the amount of rate cuts that they're going to go forward with. They were going to have 3. The market's definitely overreacted to that news. Even though they did reduce the bank funding rates in December, it's still not what the market anticipated. And what I've learned about the market is it can overreact in the short term, but then over time it's a weighing machine. How is all of this relevant? Well, it's relevant because these 3 indicators can be very useful North Stars just for knowing where the direction of the market is going before you make any big decisions and may find yourself missing out on what could be the most important leg of especially the Bitcoin cycle and the risk asset cycle. It's a secular trend that has been historically very clear to follow. It's a pattern that usually has 3 bull years and then it's got that 1 big correction year. So again, I'll throw up this chart that shows just exactly what happens in the bull years, which are usually 3, followed by that year where there's a downturn. Can also be when the recession hits, but it's usually when central banks start to tighten their policy. They start to contract the amount of liquidity they're allowing into the system. They make it harder for you to borrow money. They make it harder for you to take out loans, and the collateral required for a loan is a lot higher, whereas right now the collateral is a lot lower, so you don't need as much collateral in order to take out quite a lot of money in order to fund different liabilities or other ventures you might have. How is all of this relevant? I think it's relevant because these 3 signals can be signals that you can use in the future to make decisions that you think will then obviously have a massive impact on whether you stay in an asset or you rotate or you move to a more defensive approach, which is where you start to get more cash and have a higher cash position. I want to wish you all a happy Christmas, anyone that watches this video to this point. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. There's so much to look forward to in 2025. I can't wait to document this journey, in all honesty. It's going to be very exciting. But I also just wish you have a great Christmas. The markets are extremely positive at the moment, and there's so much to look forward to, and there's so many assets to be positioned in that are going to have extremely positive years. Tesla, Bitcoin. I also like Solana. I think that's very undervalued at the moment, and that's something that I'm really holding on to, even though it's had, for the last 4 weeks, quite difficult price action if you are a Solana holder. But at the same time, there's so much to look forward to. Have a great Christmas. Like, subscribe, comment down below. I will see you in the next one, hopefully one before the new year, but if not, it'll be back in the usual room that I do my videos in, and you'll be able to see the background in that really weird Hong Kong picture in the corner that just kind of creeps into the corner. But anyway, thank you very much. See you next year.